Boys has unfortunately left. I imagine he's going to be rejoining. We have 5 lights, and away we go. A pretty good start by the looks of it from Icewind. Is he going to get alongside Speedy? And yeah, Astro made an incredible start. That's the AI for you. As Speedy leads as they head up towards turn 1. Is he going to have a look around the outside of Speedy? He's not going to have a look around the outside of Speedy. Down the inside goes Light Cruiser, and does manage to get it stopped. Everyone making it through cleanly by the looks of things at the moment, which is fantastic to see. Is Astro in the car? But he's going to be in the slipstream now. He's in very good position to attack Icewind into turn 4 around the outside. Can he make it stick the long way around? It looks like he can. So Bailey Thompson up to 3rd place.
Really has to get past now, and you'll see slipstream kicking in and the DRS kicking in, and Astro Boys is left the inside. Who can outbreak who? Speedy will definitely get a favorable line on the outside, and can he enter around the outside of Astro Boys? Yes, he does. But now Astro Boys with a better line out of the...
Speedy with the DRS though.
Yes, that's true. He can defend with that. And Bailey Thompson is now on the back of Astro Boy, so I think he's got the move done. Yes, Speedy is clear of Astro, after Astro has been very lucky with the start. And
here comes Bailey again, sorry. Around the outside into turn 4, does break late. Not late enough. Oh, sticks his nose in.
Bailey's still there, and he sends it, and they make contact, and Bailey almost spins.
Right on the back, and Astro Boy is going to be able to overtake here with the DRS.
With Speedy, he looks absolutely crawling.
Yep, he certainly does. I don't know if it's a tyre issue or whatever. Bance also has DRS, which is hilarious, and he's inside.
What are you doing?
He goes Bance as he goes straight on the first corner. Lets everyone go, but Astro Boys has taken the lead. Defending on, as Astro Boys defending now from Icewind. Astro Boys on the hard tyres, of course, outbreaks himself a little bit. Icewind does the switcheroo. Still side by side, the two of them. And yeah, Icewind does.
Come to Speedy, and that didn't look like much of a fight, and Icewind absolutely sends it down the inside, and he has to take evasive action to not hit Speedy. Now he has to go on the track again, and then he...
So no problem at all, I don't think, to overtake Icewind here, overtake Astro Boys here into turn 1.
He's a good car.
Only barely, no he doesn't. So Astro is going to be overtaken here by Icewind.
Certainly, yeah. And he's storming down the inside. Astro tries to squeeze him, and that was very close. But Astro realized Icewind is actually still going for it. He left him more space. But Icewind almost overshot him there. And now with the DRS, he'll be able to defend this. So that's a bit of a shame, I think. But oh, can Astro actually defy the odds and try it without DRS? He's on the inside. Was there a bit of contact out of him?
Right hand, there he goes, and he's going to be kicking past here. He's almost completely out of battery though. Despite that, he's going to have a look up the inside, and down the inside he goes to the left hand. So maybe up to 6 on the road. As Thimo said a few minutes ago that he was on 40%. As Triton goes up the inside of NJJ, gets
it's not intentional, so like 2 points wouldn't be inappropriate at all. But he's kind of, I mean, first of all, he's gained at the start for his and now it looks like he can't get warnings in that. Just look at that.
Can make that 14 seconds as he gets another one for Danny as Icewind up the inside of Bailey into the stadium. Oh, he runs very wide, almost hits the wall on the outside. Is he going to get away with it? They're side by side through the hairpin.
And now Danny, oh wow, I think Danny saw the gap.
And he put his nose in as well. Oh, and Icewind, I don't know if he saw him, he might not have seen it. JJ as Speedy crosses the line to win on track, but with the 6 seconds it means that We don't appear to have sound on this, do we? Apologies for that. So we're going to cut this a little bit short. Thank you to Luigi for putting this lap together. You will be able to hear it on Thursday if you go to that broadcast if you want to go there, and you'll find that hot lap by Luigi in the Haas of Kota. But we have 30 minutes left in this qualifying session. Welcome along to the American Grand Prix, the pre-penultimate, I guess is the technical term, race of the SLR Tier 1 season. It's round 19 of 21. I'm Tara. Alongside me, we have two people in the commentary box other than me today. We have Mr. Thimo Brown and also Mr. Joel, who is going to join us as the sort of pit lane reporter, sort of third commentator today. Welcome to you both.
Hello.
So first of all, Thimo, how do you like Kota? I mean, do you like it as much as the rest of us do?
I give it a solid hell yeah, brother, out of 10. I don't know. It's like, I think it's a very good track, but driving it on Thursday has kind of not been too much fun. The third, I just really hate the little bit between turn 12, I think it is, the one after the long straight on the back straight, like the sector 3 thingy. It's very tight and very annoying. I don't like it at all. I think the rest of the track is a blast to drive. Even though I think good parts of the community disagree with me on that. I personally think it's a good track, especially for being a Talkadrome.
Yeah, fair enough. I think the S's are fine. I think the rest of it, don't like this bit very much. The bit that Milos Martika is in at the moment, the very tight section right at the end of the lap before the long right-hander.
But the one he's in right now, I like that one. I think that's fun. It's kind of got this Turkey 1010 flavor on. That's it.
That was a corner cut. I wonder if he'll get the dank this and next lap invalidated for that. He might do. He seems to be starting his lap. Yeah, he seems to be all right. Seems to be starting his lap. So he is doing a lap. We've had a few laps in already with Astro Boy, Speedy, and Jensen all in the 1 minute 31s. Bailey with a 1 minute 32.1, and then a little bit of a gap to Pretorius and Bance after that in the high 32s. And you were saying, Joel, a little bit ago about the ERS deployment here. You can't run in hot lap the whole lap, you said?
No. So back straight, because you've got, if you look at the bottom of the telemetry, you have the white bar on the left-hand side with the D in front of it. That's how much ERS you can deploy on each lap. So that will run out if you run in hot lap to the end of the lap. So you need to run it in high ERS mode through a few corners at the end of the back straight. So where Milos is coming now, down into this hairpin now. You may do it at a different point in the lap, but that's what I do. I run it in high here, and then you can make it to the end on hot lap.
Yep, that does make sense. It's he's going through the very twisty bits now, trying to put a lap in of some description.
I really like. Also, I don't like it because it doesn't really have clear braking zones, to my knowledge, at least if you don't like drive it in. I'm always scared of getting rear-ended. Mossy Gaming rear-ended me like twice there.
And there,
since then I'm scared.
Run out of ERS.
Yep,
now.
he's running out of ERS. He's not going to have it on the run to the line. It's not a very long run to the line, thankfully. So Milos does cross the line. 1 minute 33.5, not a bad lap.
That's not gonna be happy with that. We know how. I mean, yeah, we know his ambitions, and I must say, this looks kind of spicy. We've got Astro Boys on provisional pole after 9 minutes of the practice session. Great. It's only a practice session if you don't do actual practice. And he is on top right now. Speedy is in P2, and Jensen right behind him. Bailey looks like a bit off pace, but he tends to have good races in comparison to the quali run, so he's definitely not out of this. So it might actually, it does actually look like we might have a four-way fight for victory here, and I'm very excited to see that.
Yep, I agree. Danny Kogo's 6th on a 1 minute 32.6, just ahead of his teammate Bance for today. Triton, did he cut too much of the
Not even for today.
first corner?
He's got a full-time seat.
Oh yeah, he does. That's true. So yeah, they're both full time, of course. So yeah, his actual teammate Triton is just got a little bit wide in the S's there, and that's going to be an invalidation, I'm afraid. You don't get away with that one. So Triton is going to have to try again a little bit later in the qualifying session as he spins around in the Vettel corner. So he's gonna have to wait now.
Perfect corner. The one with the funny sausage curb.
That's the
Oh,
one.
oh no,
JJ
there's
is on
someone coming. Please don't get DQ Triton.
P3.
And JJ, yeah, indeed. Good
Yeah.
spot.
And
Very good lap.
Victoria's being held up a lot.
Oh, cursed! Sorry. Cursed just almost locked, like he almost died in the pit wall. Was very close.
Oh.
So yeah, NJJ seems to be genuinely on pace. I mean, I sound a bit too surprised, might be insulting, but he's normally like, I think midfield and like dead average, or slightly to the back of the midfield, but like
And
sometimes picking up
Vance.
pieces.
Yeah, what
Vance
happened to
died on the
Bance?
main
What did he
straight.
do?
Right.
He came out and he just went into the wall of the right, ran super wide.
Oh
That's the end of his
no.
qualifying.
Well,
So
maybe you can find out.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
straight
into the pit wall. Because I think I just saw a
Oh.
wheel on the entry to pit lane. I think that might have been Bance's wheel. And I think that might have been what happened to him. So
Well, that
RIP,
sounds absolutely tragic.
Mr. Bance. So yeah, that's the end of his qualifying session. He's P8 at the moment. He probably won't be in the
Yeah.
top 10, so he'll probably be alright with the free tyre choice.
Yeah. What I was getting at is that NJJ, in P3, I wonder if he can go this pace in the race, because I think he's got the occasional error, but maybe he can keep it together, make it even like a six-way fight for the win right now, because we've got 6 drivers almost within 3/10.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like people have just done a lap, so everyone on a cool-down lap after finishing their lap. OceanChief's on a lap. He's on a 1 minute 36.0 so far. He will surely improve on that.
I enjoy how Tipsy and Ocean are now teammates as well. That's a good thing in my book.
Yeah.
But Ocean has actually switched to Alpha, hasn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. I think because Icewind is
Oh right, yeah, that makes
isn't
sense.
driving today, so it'll be yeah, Ocean and Tipsy in the car today. I think they sort of have a rolling roster where Tipsy does it if one of them can't. So Ocean runs a bit wide in there in the left-hander.
I heard Icewind is badly hungover, so rip to
Yeah,
him.
yeah. He said he had a fever as well, which isn't ideal.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. Well, he did to me earlier. So Ocean has
Okay.
invalidated by the looks of things, and he's going to pit. So.
And also, I just spotted the ERS thing Joel explained was new to me, but you could just see like Ocean ran out even earlier than Curse there, so it's actually a thing. I don't know why that never happened to me. Maybe I did some weird stuff and I don't remember. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Popo's in high for the end of the lap, so he's going to put it back in hot lap for these last couple of corners. Around the long right-hander he goes right at the end of the lap. He's not put a lap in yet, so he'll want to make sure that he doesn't invalidate here. And nice and wide in the left-hander there. And into the final corner he goes, and out of it, and goes P9 on a 1 minute 33.1. So we've got a group of drivers at the moment, all within a couple of tenths at the top. It's Astro Boys, Speedy, NJJ, and Jensen. And they all have one more lap to do. Astro Boys on an out lap at the moment. In fact, he's just started his hot lap, so let's follow Astro Boys. And I don't know in terms of the strategy. It looks like everyone has gone out on the soft.
It's soft to mediums.
Soft
Easy
to medium.
Soft to mediums.
Oh, okay,
I've
fair
experienced
enough.
it.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, Push apparently invalidated 4 laps already. He's not happy.
Oh
as
dear.
one would if they invalidate 4 laps. I can understand it. In the meantime, I'm gonna have a look at the champ. Oh, right, we don't have an updated championship, do we? No, we don't.
I don't believe we do, no.
If I remember correctly, so the thing that happened. Oh, I know why we don't have it. Because there's been this decision with Astro Boys. The thing we settled on in the end was, I believe, that Astro Boys gets P2 from the last race because of the bug and everything.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was it. So Bailey Thompson lost 10 points in comparison to Speedy in the championship. So the gap went from 12 points to 22 points. And if you now do the maths, then you see that we've got 3 races to go. Margin between P1 and P2 is 21. So if Bailey Thompson doesn't get fast laps, then Speedy would be fine coming second every single race.
Yeah, because he has more wins, right?
Like this,
Would he have more wins?
No, he wouldn't, but he would be like if Bailey doesn't get a
Because
fastest lap,
it's seven
then
it's 7 difference, isn't it, between first and
yeah,
second? So if it's
but
21
the gap would be
ahead,
but the 20. No, he's 22 ahead.
or 22 ahead. Okay, well, there we
He
go.
has been 12 at Suzuka, so it's 22 right now. And if he comes second every race and Bailey wins every race, but Bailey doesn't get a fastest lap, then we've got ourselves a 1-point gap. I would enjoy that.
That would be fantastic. A 1-point gap at the end of the season would be very nice indeed. It is pretty much between those two now. There's nobody else. I don't know if there's...
Astro has aborted his lap. He ran wide.
Ah,
Turn 19.
good to know. So yeah, Astro Boy's into the pits. So I wonder if he's got time to do another one. He's still in the pits by the looks of things. So we'll see if he does push. Push is trying to get a good lap in here, or trying to get any lap in fact, because he's invalidated all his laps so far. Astro Boy said he was 4/10ths up and then made a mistake, so Astro Boys has certainly got a bit more time to go. Through the penultimate corner goes Push. Again, very conservative with the curbs there. Locks up a little bit into the final corner. Gets a little bit of oversteer on the exit. Good lap from Push though. 32.7. He goes P8.
Yeah. He's really put it to. He's finally put it together. That's what I was trying to say. No invalidation. Decent
Oh,
lap.
Jensen's nearly half a second up. So Jensen is going to go
Wow.
pole unless he makes a big mistake in the final corner.
You forgot that. I forgot to point that out. I mean, he's not really driving a lot here, and it's obviously his first season, so people might not know. But Jensen's actually like a proper Corsa specialist. It's I think like at least he's told me that the.
Oh,
that
he
it
just
is his best
invalidated.
track.
Oh, he invalidated. He invalidated in the penultimate corner, and he's gone
thought
wide,
so.
and he's upset with himself.
On the
The
apex.
pain.
Yeah, he took 2 goes to enter the corner, and he still chopped a little bit off it and invalidated. That is a painful one, because he was a long way up on his delta, I'm pretty sure.
And with Pretorius, who's just gone wide again, turn 19.
Oh,
So
yeah,
a lot
but
of
he's
invalidations.
out of VRS as well. This
gonna-
is a good lap, though.
And
32.0 from
it's
Pretorius.
it's an improvement, but not a better position. Look at how close this field, especially between NJJ and Pretorius. It's and also Astro and Speedy. I mean, nothing against Jensen, but I actually kind of enjoy the fact that he screwed that up. I expect him to be very quick in the race, and it's always good if you have quick guys not on pole.
Yeah,
Or,
absolutely. We'll
yeah.
see him come through the field from P4. It'll be an entertaining one, I'm sure.
An eye on Bailey, though, who's starting a lap now, going into turn 1.
Okay, good to know. Speedy is halfway around the first. He's just finished the first sector, in fact, and he's about to come onto the back straight after the next couple of corners. Going to keep an eye on Speedy here. Speedy P2 at the moment. Bailey down in P6, though, so he really does need to improve. He only needs to improve 2 or 3 tenths or so. Speedy into the hairpin, then at the end of the lap we have the checkered flag out, so everyone who's on a lap at the moment can complete it.
Speedy's not improving.
Yeah, quarter of a second down, so Speedy, Speedy looks like he's not going to do better than his second place at the moment. Is Bailey going to improve? That is the question. Comes down to the end of the back straight to the hairpin once again.
Yeah, so he's going to be in
10th and a half up.
10th and a half, and that would put him between Speedy and NJJ. That would put him around where he needs to be if he really wants to challenge for victory, and with that also for the championship. Maybe he screwed up his final sector on the first lap, so there's still time in this. Let's see.
Yep, there absolutely is. We'll see how brave he is.
And I think that was
perfect.
nailed.
Danny putting it P3. Very good lap from Danny into the 31s.
And Bailey Thompson, goes around the front corner,
Yep.
and it is P1. Bailey on pole. That was a lap. Holy! I did not see that coming. Wow.
Very good.
And
Oh, Popo! Wow.
Comes from nowhere, puts it on pole. It's made in pole position, I'm pretty sure. And Chance is only down in P8. What a qualifying session.
Wow.
Oh, this looks promising. I'm so hyped.
And it's a third of a second from P1 to P9 at the moment. Pretorius is not going to improve on his lap. Triton's on a cooldown lap, so I think that might be our grid. Push goes P10.
He's 4 tenths off and he's in P10.
Wow, that's insane.
This is wonderful. I love this. I absolutely do.
Absolutely fantastic. As Bant tells the chat that he's going to, he's starting a new life, not as
As
a
a
sim
fish.
racing driver, but as a fisherman instead.
Yeah,
So
he's PM'd me. He's PM'd me. I was about to give a shout out to chat to ask if someone can like recommend him fishing rods, nice little rivers where he can like maybe chop off some wood and build a little cabin where he can retire and just fish all day. Um, I don't know. Maybe someone can help him there, or maybe someone can help him drive. I don't know. That sounded way too mean. I can't drive either. It's okay.
someone who can drive is Popo Gamer, who has put it on pole for this US Grand Prix. A little bit of a topsy-turvy grid compared to what we're used to. Bailey P2, and then Astro Boys and Speedy on the second row. This is going to be a really interesting race. I'm looking forward to this one a lot.
Oh, this is so spicy.
And back to strategy as well. Some of the faster guys, likes of Speedy and Bailey and Jensen, were talking about tyre temps earlier in Discord, saying they might go onto the hards instead of the mediums because the
Okay.
softs get very hot early on in the race.
Yeah, I heard about that. Jensen talked a lot to me about that because I got like kind of a bit of coaching from Jensen, and he's good here. So what Jensen does is he puts it in 0 ERS for the S's and the slow third sector section, because if he does that, then he doesn't overheat his front tires.
The
That
front
would have never come to.
tyres?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense, does it?
Well,
Because
I mean, because
surely
he
it's the
goes
rear
slower,
tyres you're protecting if you do that.
but going slower in the S's at least, like
In the
because
S's,
if you
maybe, yeah.
yeah. The other one I guess the other one is not for tire times, probably just like because you don't need the
Yeah,
ERS
no,
there. But that certainly wouldn't talk me
absolutely in
for the
the S's
S's.
you want to be in none because you're going to be on the power for most of it, but you're not going to need the extra power because you're really on the power just to stabilize the car rather than to try and go fast. So that's absolutely right. In the slow section, I think probably I'm not sure none is the best because you lose a lot of power and a lot of power out of the slow corners in none. But it'll be interesting to
Yeah, that's
see.
interesting. Yeah.
Interesting to see
Yeah,
what
keep an
people
eye
do.
out for that.
Yeah. No, we certainly will do. We've got 16 starters in this race. I think Bant is going to take the start. At least I hope he is. "28 laps of Kota then. The formation lap is underway.
And oh, this is such a competitive grid. I really like that. It's I mean, and normally I always thought that Tussauds had a more competitive grid in terms of the drivers being closer, but this is insanity.
Yeah, I think this certainly this qualifying session has been the closest that we've seen.
Yeah, certainly. It was like EGL levels
Yeah,
of closeness.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, yeah. I mean, yeah, you know something is going wrong if you're 4/10 off pole and you're in P10. And Jensen only in P8.
Yeah,
And
Jensen be kicking himself with that mistake in the penultimate corner.
really well, yeah.
Because yeah, he would have been on pole with that lap, probably quite comfortably. He would have been in the mid 1 minute 31s. He would have been ahead of everyone. As it is, he starts
Yeah.
P8.
Uh, the question for the championship is now, can Bailey hunt down Popo, and can Speedy? I mean, basically, Speedy's got one very quick roadblock between Bailey and himself, and it's not really fair to call Astro a roadblock. He's got a good pace, and Speedy really needs to get past him, and maybe Popo. No, I mean, I don't think there's gonna be any teammate shenanigans between Popo and Speedy, especially if it's for a potential, I think, maiden victory. Did Popo already win a tier 1 race? He didn't,
Nope,
right?
I'm pretty sure he hasn't. I think this would be his
Yeah.
first one. I think he's come second at
Yeah.
least once. But yeah, and he's certainly not won one, so he will be doing his darndest to do that. In terms of tyres, by the way, we've got 3 people starting on mediums, everyone else starting on softs. 3 on mediums are TipsyBob, Kirst, and Smeltino. at the back of the grid as the grid begins to form. And we are in fact going to get underway very shortly indeed here at the Circuit of the Americas.
This is gonna be a good one, I'm sure. Who do you think will win? Quick. Joel? Tara?
Bailey.
Stray boys.
Astro Boys. Bold one. I like that.
Yep, I like it too. We've got
Lights.
5 lights and eventually away we go. As Popo looked like he got a pretty good start. He certainly leads into the first corner. Speedy got a very good one as well. He's looking down the inside, but braking later on the outside is Astro Boys, and down the inside goes Bailey and shoves Popo to the outside there. That wasn't very friendly from Bailey at all, but he does lead the race as further back, Speedy in second place. And the two Ferraris very close together there as well. Everyone getting through at the moment though, but Bailey has managed to shove his way into the lead of the race, at least for the time being. He's got Speedy just behind him in P2 and Astro Boys in P3, so it's the 3 quick boys at the front. Popo's been shuffled down to P4 by that move.
And Bounce had an absolute blitz start. He's already up in P6.
Yeah, wow.
I thought he was going to go fishing and out. Oh, Popo lagged behind Bounce here. Now he dive bombed him back, but Bounce has got the upper hand. So Bounce is up at P5. Popo gave a disaster for him. He's in P6. And already the fight for P1 and 2 is going to be P1 and 2 in the championship. And Astro Boys is watching from behind for now. Speedy looks so close to Bailey. And Jens drops down behind Light Cruiser. He kind of missed his braking in turn 12, I imagine.
No, a bit of contact between the two of them. They were side by side. As again,
and then JJ is there. Oh, never mind. That's
setting it up the inside and almost tagging the back of Popo. There was Jensen, but Light Cruiser does hang on around the outside. So a really good battle between the two Dutchmen. As they come towards the end of lap 1, it's still Bailey leading from Speedy, then Astro Boys and the two Ferraris both run very wide. Push already with a 3-second penalty. We're going to see a lot of those today.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I don't know what happened at the start bit there, but I felt like Bailey went very deep, like a lot too deep for comfort, and kind of like shoved a bit around. And that Jensen is past Light Cruiser into turn 1.
Yep, he certainly did, down the inside into the first corner. So Jensen making his way ahead of the Renault.
And somewhere in the middle sector, I think Popo was passed by the two Ferraris ahead of him now. He's in P6.
Yeah, that happened when he lagged behind them before the back straight. Thimo was across that one. And does seem to be struggling a little bit, Popo, at the moment. He is right on the back of Bantz, though. So he'll be trying, I think, to at least have a look at that Ferrari in front of him. The leader's beginning to stretch their legs, though.
Jensen almost shoving Popo through turn 11 there. And now he's going to have his eyes peeled at the inside of Popo, even though Popo's getting massive slipstream from Bantz, even though it doesn't exist in the game. And now he's on the inside and he's making the move stick for now. But now Bantz will have a better run. And will they make it? Oh, it looked like Jensen was trying to get in there. That would have been audacious. But he didn't. Better for him. Bantz still ahead of Popo. Popo, I think, has got the pace on him. Light Cruiser lurking behind them. Everyone tries to pick the moment to be a hero and to go through. But so far...
Oh, more lags from Popo. He lost 3 more places there, unfortunately. So Popo having all sorts of issues.
It's the Honda engine.
Oh, and spinning into the wall. Oh, and hitting the wall was push. Yeah, he hit the wall with his back wheel, thankfully.
Gets another penalty.
So he didn't lose. Yeah, he got 3 seconds for it, but he could have lost a lot more than that. Could have lost his wheel.
Speedy's all over the back of Bailey Thompson as well. It's less than half a second, so this is not going to be a walk in the park for Bailey Thompson. He's gonna have to fight for this if he wants it, and he really needs this victory, not only for for his points tally to look a little better. It's coming down for the championship. He really needs this.
Yep, he certainly does, and this is the sort of time I would imagine where Speedy is going to start to struggle with tyre temps after a few laps. Kurz gets himself 3 seconds. As Bantz defending from Jensen towards the back. Jensen's going to get the run out here, though. DRS this lap, of course.
That's good. Then you got NJJ.
So Bantz is going to be an absolute sitting duck here. Jensen is certainly going to pass him. What's the situation up front? Astro Boy is having to defend from Danny into the hairpin.
Yeah, Danny looks competitive as well. And Light Cruiser, Bantz has run wide.
Yeah, it certainly has, as Pretorius tries to go between Bance and Light Cruiser, but Bance managing to hold onto the position. Pretorius very opportunistic, trying to go up the inside of the right-hander, around the outside of the left-hander, still side by side, the two of them.
Great racing.
And Light Cruiser does get ahead.
Jensen 3 seconds. While still those
Oh, Jensen got
3-second time penalty.
3-second time penalty.
Wow,
I didn't see
that's
that.
early.
It is. So he's obviously trying quite hard. Meanwhile, back at the front, Bailey and Speedy, half a second apart.
Astro doesn't have DRS. Maybe they can break it here, but I mean, they're gonna be fighting, so Astro will probably not have
Light Cruiser and Bance. Light Cruiser went to defend, and Light Cruiser sent one down the inside anyway, and he's gone wide. And he's going to lose another place, I think, to Pretorius as well. So Light Cruiser trying to pass Bance, but it doesn't work out for him. We have yellows in Sector 1.
It is, it's been pushed. Push is spun in turn 1.
Oh dear.
Or I don't know if he's spun, but he's been slow, and it looked like he was kind of recovering for something. And Tipsy with a penalty as well. Let's check Bailey and...
3 seconds for Light Cruiser as well. So Light Cruiser having some struggles there. He got overtaken by Pretorius a moment ago when he was trying to pass Bance.
Yeah. Bailey and Speedy both on 2 warnings.
Oh, wow.
So this is going to be interesting. And now I imagine Speedy might be able to do something
with
the way Bailey...
DRS 0. He's not interested in overtaking. He's conserving his resources as Speedy.
Cheeky.
He's going to use the DRS, use the extra speed from that, and compensate for it.
Pretorius and Bance going toe-to-toe into the hairpin after the back straight. Bance defending successfully his battle for P6 as Pretorius tries and goes around the outside there, but it's not going to work out as Bance is going to keep his line.
Yep, cuts that one off as Light Cruiser sends one down the inside of Popo as well, and Bance at the moment is a roadblock right now in that Ferrari. Don't know if he's having tyre issues or what the situation is, but he is holding up Pretorius a lot as they go into the last couple of corners. It's very close at the front as well between, and Astro Boys does now have DRS on Speedy, so the front 4 in a DRS strain. In the meantime, Bance, is he going to defend this send from Pretorius? He preemptively goes to the inside. Pretorius trying to go all the way around the outside, but nothing doing there, so Bance defends.
Never mind. Yeah, good work from him. We know he can defend, and picked his line well there.
Yep, certainly did. 4 seconds off the back of Jensen, though, now in that P6.
Yeah, and Jensen's closing in on Danny and Astro.
Yeah.
I think, like, a little bit. They are... I mean, they're not directly fighting, but Jensen's kind of got the pace on him, so he's also in this. One of strategy's going to play a part. I think it's going to be soft to mediums. Even with the tire temps, I just think it's a lot better. But we don't know. And now Speedy looks very quick on the back of Bailey Thompson. Will he send it? He's not alongside in the braking zone, but he absolutely sends it.
Dear.
That was a bit too late. But he's on the inside for another one as well. 12-13. He goes to the inside. Bailey is able to hang it around the outside. He keeps his lead for the moment. And Bailey, you can just see how wide he enters that corner because, you know, Speedy cannot get past him and he really wants that run, so he's not threatened by Speedy for a moment here. Little breathing time for him and me.
And Pretorius has managed to finally pass Bance. I was trying to catch that as well at the end of that lap with the camera. And Bance loses a position. He's side by side now with Light Cruiser. Oh, doesn't really give him room on the entry to the left-hander. And Bance at the moment, he's struggling so much in that Ferrari. And he's surely going to be a sitting duck now to the cars behind him as they go into turn 1. Bance again going very defensive. Oh, and sending one is Popo. Popo up the inside of Light Cruiser, taking advantage of that move.
Oh, that looks a bit weird.
Oh, still side by side. Wow.
That was dangerous. You go really quick there. And Light Cruiser's managed to hold it together. Yeah, I would be very scared now. Let's see how penalties look for Astro.
Oh, that's not a place for a move, Light Cruiser. That was extremely risky. He got away with it. He trying to force his way along down the inside of Popo.
Oh, we've lost NJJ in the wall.
At the same time, onto the back straight, Speedy is getting past round the outside of Bailey into this hairpin. Both on the same old tyres, so they're going to have equal performance, and he gets that move done way before the hairpin. Into the lead is Speedy as he defends, and Bailey is now having to defend from Astro Boys. He's been very opportunistic indeed, trying to send it down the inside there.
Oh, and Bance
it's
and
now a
Popo
three-way
Gamer,
race.
7th and 8th. Once again, Bance is trying his
Oh,
hardest.
Popo gets it
Popo,
sideways.
yeah.
And now he hits the back of Light Cruiser.
Oh,
and he's
dear.
going to lose to Bascadini as well. Popo Gamer down to P10. It's going from bad to worse. And also, yeah, nice move by Speedy. He's going to hope to be able to pull away here.
There's action absolutely everywhere. I don't know if Popo is struggling with some damage. It looked like he might have some damage in the right hander there. Didn't exactly see, but certainly this start has been an absolute nightmare. Oh, and spinning on the outside is Light Cruiser, and there's an accident as Popo's day goes from bad to worse. Unfortunately, Bailey has passed Speedy, but Popo has spun out altogether. Light Cruiser, it was who spun by himself in the last corner. Popo couldn't avoid him. And, well, that is a pole position that in the end turned out to be a real, well, just very, very bad luck in the race for Popo.
Yeah, I feel very bad for him. Must have been pumped after that quali, and now it's already over. Not quite, but he's pretty far down the order. Speedy and Bailey are very intriguing to watch because, oh no! We've lost Pretorius! Pretorius has spun onto the straight! I don't know what happened there. Like either traction or you maybe like hit someone's side pod and got sideways, but he's on P12 now, or P11, but like...
Yeah, he's about to be
Ocean
overtaken
P12.
by Ocean, and yeah, he's going to have to recover from that one. Didn't see what happened, only saw the aftermath, but yeah, must have lost it on traction or something like that, because it went all the way around and he ended up in the wall. So Pretorius is another casualty. Vance hanging on to that P6 for the time being. He's got people around him that are having issues. In the meantime, the front five all in a massive train here. It's Bailey, it's Speedy, it's Astro Boys, it's Danny, it's Jensen. All of them absolutely together and streaking away from Bance now after 7 laps. They are 8 seconds ahead of Bance in P6.
And Astro Boys looks very close to Speedy. Might try something. He looks very far back, but he goes for the lunge. Down the inside on the championship leader. Astro Boys has passed into P2. Well, they're still side by side into the S's. Right hand and next, and Speedy's got the inside. Will they run side by side through the S's? Will this go well? Oh, and Speedy kind of yields to Astro Boys' pass. He really forced his way through there, but fair racing between the two of them. I sat on the edge of that seat.
Oh, and Jensen got Danny as well, yeah, in the first part of the S's. So those two also running side by side in the S's. Didn't see that on camera, but yeah, Jensen into P4.
Massive run by Danny, never mind, he had to lift off.
The issue for Astro Boys is that he's out of DRS range with all of that battling. And he's going to be a sitting duck, I think, for Speedy here down the back straight. No problem at all, I wouldn't have thought, for him to retake that position. He's got plenty of battery to do it. And down the inside he goes into the hairpin. And Danny also gets the move done. Yeah, it also gets the move done on Jensen, so good stuff from him. Oh, Jensen around the outside, though, of the right-hander.
Oh.
Clean racing between the two of them.
And Astro sends it on Speedy as well, and that was a clean one, but Speedy's going to get the cutback, I think. Or is he?
Yep,
on the outside,
he is.
yes, he's got it.
So Speedy keeps the position, but that has allowed Bailey to make a little bit of a break at the front. 1.5 seconds is the gap between Bailey and Speedy at the front as they come towards the end of lap 8. We're starting to get to the point where the drivers will be thinking, at least, about making their one and only pit stop of the race.
Yeah,
The cut territory will be around.
Here comes Astro again.
Astro, sorry, yeah, there's so much happening. You don't really have a gap, and now Astro went really wide there, so it's a defended move for Speedy. And Jensen on the back of Astro, he looks very close. Indeed, he managed to recover from that bad starting position, and in the S's, Jensen takes Astro Boys. They're side by side. He goes through him.
Wow, he had to go through him. Speedy gets 3 seconds as well.
Danny takes Astro Boys down in P5.
Yeah, Astro Boys losing all sorts of time and 3 positions as well in a lap. Meaningfully as well, Speedy got himself a 3-second penalty. So Speedy is the first of the front runners, other than Jensen, I guess, to get a 3-second penalty.
I also want to mention Triton is driving a solid race. He had kind of poor qualifying, but he's obviously the hometown hero here, living in the US. Bascadini on the back of Bance for P6.
Yeah, trying to go around the outside. Bance going defensive into the hairpin, and Bascadini not getting that done.
Yeah.
He outbraked himself there into the hairpin. Triton keeping a watching brief as well behind these two. Oh, as Bascodino gets out of shape, Triton going to send one down the inside. Oh, and a little bit of contact between the two of them. Think they got away with it. Danny gets 3 seconds as well, so 3 seconds for everyone in the front group except for Bailey and Astro Boys, as far as we know, and they all pit except for Astro Boys. So you were mentioning, Joel, that lap 10 was around about the time. They've come in a lap early, I guess, to ward off the undercut.
Everyone's warding off the undercut, so there is no undercut.
Especially with the top five as close as they are, an undercut could be a matter of 4 positions, maybe even the lead at this rate.
Yep, absolutely
and
right.
They come out in traffic, and Bailey's put Tipsy and Pretorius between himself and Speedy, and that's very good for him. I imagine they're going to pit this lap, but Speedy, I think with the fresh tires, will be fast enough, and also with his, pure racing pace and skill, will be able to close it down on him, so he's gonna get held up here. At least a little bit, but he's gonna have DRS. Maybe that's compensating a little bit. He's got a massive run on Pretorius in the battle corner. He's already passed the first one, and now he's gonna get DRS off of Tipsy. Maybe I was...
Yeah, I think he is going to be okay here. He's going to get the run out because he's got much better traction on those tyres. Tipsy on the 9-lap-old mediums. And yeah, Speedy...
a move on Bance.
Oh, yeah. As
Bance
tries to get him back. Oh, and Bascodino outbrakes himself again. A little bit of contact on the outside. Bascodino does look like he's got it, though. Bance really struggling on those tyres. Triton having a look on the inside as well. This is a battle for second on the road. They haven't pitted, of course, and they've got the leaders, the net leaders, just behind them. As Jensen passes Pretorius.
All the more whilst these two battle, it's helping out Astro Boys, who's actually pulling away from them and now he's in the pits. So we'll see where he emerges. I imagine on the podium positions, as they were stuck in traffic, the leaders.
Yep, absolutely. So Bance and Vascodino and Triton all pit as well. And yeah, as you mentioned, Astro Boy is now coming out of the pits. Where are the others? Bailey's already passed. Speedy's already passed. He's going to be some way behind those guys. In fact, he's going to be behind everyone else in that lead group. He was behind them anyway, but he's some way off the back of them, actually.
Smeltino!
As
Oh,
Smeltino...
yeah, I thought it was Jensen. But it was Smeltino. Still tragic.
Yeah, so Astro Boy is now 2.5 seconds off the back of this lead group with that 1-lap undercut by everybody else. So he's got a lot of work to do.
Start battling, he does have the advantage because Taiwo getting near 60% at the end of the race on the mediums, so 1 lap could make a difference.
Yep, it might well make a difference, and he'll have his work cut out to catch everybody else. And yeah, as you mentioned, oh, a spinning is Bance! What happened there?
Oh no!
Bance spinning in the S's and into the wall.
I heard Canada's nice for fishing, so
And Bance retires, unfortunately, and leaves the session. So that is the end of a rear guard action. Yeah, as Danny, does indeed go down the inside, as you mentioned, of Tipsy. We have a VSC.
Oh, that's interesting. But everyone's pitted. So
everyone's already pitted, yeah. Well, apart from the medium runners, but I don't think they'll be pitting.
I don't think so. I mean, they could make it onto the hards, but I think you lose more than like the 5 or 6 seconds you gain through the VSC by going into an objectively worse tire.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think that's right.
Yeah.
I did mention as well, or I was going to mention rather, as the VSC ends, that we do have a couple of drivers that have decided to go on the hards. One of them is Triton, who's battling at the moment with Smeltino, trying to go around the outside of the right-hander. Very nicely done by Triton, up to P8. But yeah, Triton is on the hards. Bance was on the hards as well before he crashed. And then Cursed, Push, and Light Cruiser have all done exactly the same thing. Everyone else, though, on the mediums.
Check the tires, yeah. I didn't have them right now. Okay.
Oh, Bance didn't mean to go on the hards, apparently. The game gave him the wrong tires.
Well, that's great. I mean, I have a theory, because when I started in P11, so it was like in the same situation as Bance was in Tier 2, and the top strategy, I customized it, but it still wasn't the selected one, but I spotted it, so I selected it. I bet Bance didn't notice that it wasn't the selected one and accidentally chose the wrong strategy. That might be what's happened here, because normally I've never witnessed that the game tells you it's going to give you a certain time and then it doesn't. That has never happened to me, and I haven't ever seen that happen to anyone. I think
I think pretty much always it's something that that the driver has done. But yeah, I don't know. And yeah, we were watching some of it on the broadcast. The leaders were battling at the same time, so I was trying to flick between your battle and the leaders' battle. But yeah, it was good fun. You were holding them off for a while there.
I thought your hot take was, yeah, it's always something. Like to the issue, okay.
Oh no,
I
yeah,
thought
no.
we were done with that.
No. It's I think it's always something that the player does. I don't think there's anything that certainly all the times that I've known it to have happened, it's been it's come out later that the driver hasn't selected the right thing or something like that.
Yeah. Most computer problems sit between screen and chair.
Yeah, afraid so. Front three are all together here. They're all absolutely together. Danico has fallen off the back a little bit, but it's Bailey, Speedy, and Jensen, all three of them,
Yeah.
running pretty much line astern.
Speedy, I mean, Jensen looks so quick.
Yeah,
The three
he
of
does.
them do, but Jensen, I feel like, to me, looks like he's the quickest right now. How's the penalty situation?
Well, Astro, I think, just got his first penalty of the race. So I think the only one in the top 5 now without a penalty is Bailey. I think, if I've been keeping track of that.
Yeah, indeed. Bailey's still sitting on 2 warnings.
As Triton gets himself 3 seconds as well, running a solid race nonetheless on the hard tyre now. Wonder if he did that intentionally or if it was accidental. These three are going to be all together now into the hairpin. Speedy down the inside. Bailey trying to hang on around the outside, still side by side between the two of them. Speedy looks like he's got a nose ahead, but not enough ahead to take his line. And Bailey manages to cut him off for the time being. Speedy's still on the inside though. And he can take the line away now, and he does so. And they're still going to be side by side here.
Yeah, they are. And Bailey's got the shorter line. And he's gonna squeeze him, I imagine. Or they leave each other. They are so close to each other. No 4-car wins, and I imagine that's something for Speedy, but at least he's in front, so it might have actually been worth it.
So Speedy...
And now Jensen's gonna attack Bailey. Speedy's gonna look into his mirror, and he's gonna hope, because Bailey doesn't have DRS, so it's gonna be an easy job for Jensen. Down the inside into turn 1, that uphill corner, and oh, he broke very late. I thought, for 1 second, I thought he was gonna have a look at Speedy, but he gets it all wrong on the outside. There's no grip there, so he gets sideways, and Bailey's fast through. So Jensen kind of threw away his chance here.
Yep, absolutely right. It's a real battle between these three. And so Danny about 3 seconds behind, and Danny will be catching if the three of them battle to that extent for the rest of the race. We're coming up to half distance as Jensen runs very wide in the Vettel corner.
It's only half distance. This was like action for 4 rounds or something. And action for an entire Formula 1 real life season. Anyway.
So
shade thrown.
Down the back straight they go. Bailey with the DRS, Jensen also with the DRS, of course. Half a second separating all three of them.
Rather in chat criticizing that Bailey wasn't aggressive enough, he should have beat a little touch so Speedy knows his place. Interesting take there, but he's a 3-time champion, so he must know what he's talking about.
Through the last sector they go, all three of them, as Pretorius and Bascodini are battling towards the end of the back straight. Pretorius looks like he's got that move done. Meanwhile, back to the top 3 we go, and half distance. There isn't really too much strategy to be played out here. It's just about managing your resources, making sure you've got plenty of ERS for the last few laps, which will be crucial. Jensen having a look and getting very close to the back of Bailey, but nothing doing there. Well, Bailey
just
right on the back.
Time to breathe.
Right on the back of Speedy. I think he probably got too close to the back of Speedy, which meant he had to slow down and compromise his line a little bit, which means that Jensen is once again all over the back of that racing point.
And now, he might actually try it into turn 11, down the inside off Bailey Thompson. Goes Jensen, and Speedy kind of got it wide, and a little bit of a squeeze here, but Bailey is still hanging on, but I think Jensen's not opening his DRS, is he? Oh, both of them are.
Yeah, both of them are.
DRS, and side brought into front tire for Jensen. Jensen's kind of followed what Ramos suggested to Bailey.
Yeah, and still side by side on exit. Down the inside goes Bailey of the right-hander. And again, very close racing between the two of them. Jensen squeezes through. Bailey sends one on the inside, though. That was a risky move, and he parks it on the apex as well, so that Jensen can't get the cut back. So nicely done by Bailey. In the meantime, Speedy is almost a second ahead, but he's not a second ahead, so he's still going to have DRS, is Bailey.
He's gonna be delighted with the fact that they are fighting so hard. But oh, Bailey's already on the back of Speedy. I think I think Speedy made a little blunder in the penultimate corner.
Yeah, might well have done. Into turn one they go. 13 laps to go of this American Grand Prix. Around goes Bailey, and Jensen trailing him very closely indeed. And in the meantime, Danny and Astro Boys both catching these three. So Danny, I would imagine, with slightly better. Oh, and again, Jensen gets a very good run out of that left-hander, and down the inside he goes into the hairpin once again. Still side by side, and they're going to be side by side again on the exit. It's like an action replay of last lap.
We did it once again, guys. It's no coincidence.
Bailey,
now,
Bailey is going to get the slipstream here, though, and there is enough of a slipstream at that range to be effective as he sends one down the inside and cuts his line off on the exit as well. Pushes Jensen wide. So Bailey keeps the position for the time being.
This is... Oh, Tipsy is still on his first set of tires. I was kind of hyped for a second when I looked at the timing. He's doing a me, it all looks great, and then you realize you still have to pit.
Yeah, afraid so. He's going to be coming out, I think, battling somewhere near Mr. OceanChief in this race. He's going to be fighting for the honour of Ireland, along with Kirst as well. Kirst is only a couple of seconds behind Ocean.
Yeah. I wonder what's going to happen with Light Cruiser and Push, and Tipsy as well. But I mean, it's obvious the three of them are not going to finish this race because OceanChief needs to get P10. But the question is just, like, how will it happen?
Yeah, well, we will see. There's quite a lot that has to happen for Ocean at the moment. He is on the medium tyre, so he might have a little bit of a pace advantage of, compared to...
It always does.
compared to
Jensen, I saw that one, and he kind of hopped over the sausage curb on the inside in the S's there. But he's really aggressive with that one. I mean, getting a new penalty means now you can be a little less careful, I guess.
Well, there's still 12. Yeah, there's still 12 laps to go, so he certainly can't be too aggressive. Light Cruiser with 3 more seconds, but yeah, Jensen now has 6, which means that Speedy with 3, and Bailey, I think, still doesn't have any, right? I haven't seen one.
Bailey doesn't have any. He's still sitting on his 2 warnings. He got 2 laps. So great job.
Jensen down the inside, and he does exactly what Bailey did to him last lap. That was a little bit of retribution for Jensen. Cuts his line off on the exit and pushes him out wide. So Jensen up to P2. Bailey sending one again, though. Is he going to make this stick? And yeah, pushes him out wide. Does have to leave him space on the exit, though, and Jensen will have the inside of the right-hander. So, oh, Bascodinho, what's happened to Bascodinho? He's been overtaken by Triton. I saw the yellows and I saw him go down a position. Oh, and spinning! Speedy spun! Speedy spun! What happened there in the penultimate corner as Smeltino retires?
Turn 19, he just stood on the loud pedal and he spun round.
Oh my goodness, so Speedy throwing it away.
Looks like Bailey's going to make a move into turn 1 on Jensen. And he backs out of that one, thought better of it.
And now Speedy has a lot of work to do. He's down in P5. He's got Astro Boys ahead of him. He's got Danny rather ahead of him. Have we lost Thimo as well? I've not heard Thimo for a little bit. Feel like we might have lost Thimo. He'll be back. Meanwhile, Jensen now leads this race, although with those
Bailey
penalties...
gets 3 seconds.
Oh, Bailey got 3 seconds. Wow. So Bailey only 3 seconds behind.
So Jensen with 2 penalties, Bailey with 1.
Yep. That is the situation. So Bailey just has to hang on to Jensen. Onto the back straight. Welcome back. Did you miss Speedy spinning?
No, I mean, I didn't see it. I was on board with Smeltino, and then like Smeltino clicked the retire button, and then I just heard you shout, and we're like, "What is so exciting about this? Oh, Speedy spun!"
Well, we've lost Tipsy. He's unfortunately disconnected.
Well. Rest in peace. I mean, that's the first guy for OceanChief. Anyway, This is so massive for the championship because Bailey Thompson, with a penalty situation right now, is actually in P1. So this would be 15 points, and that would narrow down the championship gap to 7 points. And
3 seconds for Speedy. That's 3 more for Speedy, so 6 seconds for him. His race is falling apart right now. He's got to keep his head a little bit.
Tilt in this.
Yep, I can imagine. He's down in P5, and that championship lead could just be evaporating before our very eyes.
Pace difference between these guys is so minute that the smallest mistake is going to put you down even 1, maybe 2 positions.
Yep, absolutely right.
Yeah.
Danny gets 3 seconds as well, so Danny's up to 6. I think Astro Boys is still on 3. So Astro Boy is now in a good position as well, as Bailey looks like he's struggling to hang on to the back of Jensen a little bit. He's obviously playing it fairly conservatively with the curbs, but he's got to stay within that 1 second range. You'll have the DRS to close up a little bit here down this back straight, but he's also out of VRS as well. So he's really struggling at the moment, is Bailey. Jensen has a full battery. So this is very interesting. Jensen might be using all of that battery to try and pull away and pull out of DRS range. And if he can do that, maybe he can pull the 3 seconds he needs in the last, 9 laps of this race. He is now over a second ahead.
Astro Boys is 1 warning away from another penalty.
Yeah, he is. Maybe Speedy can pressure him into something, but it kind of looks like Speedy has lost control over this race. I mean, obviously. First he lost control of his car, and now he's lost control over the race. Not a good combination. Jensen picks the fastest lap up.
Yep.
That's very important.
And no DRS for Bailey on the front straight either. So Jensen is trying to make his move.
With a predicted or projected gap in the championship of 7 points and 2 laps, 2 rounds to go, I mean, every single fastest lap point will be very important. And if Jensen can pick this up and might maybe even win, then Speedy would be very happy, I imagine. But for him to win, he would really need to get away from him now. 2 seconds on the final 28 laps. And I don't know, I don't think he's got a quarter of a second a pace advantage over Bailey. Might be wrong though.
I don't know about that. I think he's some distance faster, and the fact that he's managed to break DRS is huge for him. Bailey has no battery at all.
Oh,
He's at 1%. So
it's actually been a 35.8 versus a 36.2. So it's 4/10 from the last lap. Maybe Jensen can do this.
I think that he is probably.
Oh, Bailey! Wow,
I think
he went
he's
very sideways.
Yep, I think Jensen is favourite to win this race at the moment. For me, I think he's certainly handling those tyres better, and he's considerably faster than Bailey at the moment. He's pulled out 2 seconds already. What is this lap going to be from Jensen? It's going to be a very fast one, certainly much faster than Bailey was able to manage. 2 seconds nearly is what the gap is. He's going to cross the line. And he does the fastest lap of the race once again. 35.7 from Jensen, 36.6 from Bailey. Meanwhile, Speedy desperately trying to get to the back of that Danny Astro Boys battle for 3rd and 4th. As Light Cruiser and Push battling on their hard tyres for P10 as Light Cruiser tries to squeeze him off a little bit. Oh, a little more contact between the two of them. Going to be side by side through the long right-hander.
Oh my god, Jensen is flying.
Yep, he absolutely is.
And he's gained so much this lap. Oh, Kirst is back.
Oh, Astro Boys, what happened to Astro Boys? Astro Boys spun somewhere.
Far way behind Speedy all of a sudden.
He spun somewhere. He must have spun in the S's. Yeah, that's very good for Speedy, because that means that he is now a net P4, I believe.
Yeah.
He's got 3 more seconds of penalties than Astro, but he's just over 3 seconds ahead now.
I think Astro slid out wide on the final part of the S's and went into a bit of a drift. So his tyres went.
Yeah.
I mean, he managed not to die completely, which is, something, I guess. Bailey, and yeah, if Jensen's going to win, and if we look at the pace and do a little bit of counting, then we see that it's going to be enough laps for Jensen to be able to get the 3-second gap if he continues like that.
Well, he's almost
And
there. He's almost got it.
yeah,
He's at
exactly.
2.6.
Speedy, wow, oh my god, Speedy just did a fat drift in the penultimate corner. He really likes that one, does he?
Yeah, oh, he's pushing very hard, Speedy, again in the last corner as well, really struggling. Bailey is also being caught by Danny, who is
oh wow.
P3 in the Ferrari at the moment. And I think the penalty situation is that Danny has... I actually don't know, either 3 or 6. Yeah, I don't know.
Checking.
Either 3 or 6 seconds of penalties.
He is sitting on 6 and 2 warnings.
6 and 2 warnings, so he's got some work to do then to get to Bailey, because Bailey has only 3 seconds.
Yeah, honestly, even though the spin was absolutely massive for the championship, which I repeated multiple times when I was muted, I mean, it doesn't look too horrible for him in terms of championship. Right now, as it stands, he's going to lose 6 points to him. Had Bailey won and Speedy been second, would have been 7. So, like, I mean, this is not the end of his championship. His career is not over. And,
The anti-Nico Rosberg.
It's still annoying. No question. He could have maybe won this or finished ahead of Bailey for sure. But, it is what it is, and damage limitation will be taking home P4 here, and Jensen is already 3.7 seconds clear of Bailey.
Yeah, and Bailey is falling back into the clutches of Danny. As I say that, Danny chops off the penultimate corner and gets himself 3 more seconds, so Danny has got a lot of work to do now. He's 6 seconds behind Bailey in terms of penalties. He is within DRS range, though, now. And he's got a full battery as well. So he's going to have all the resources he needs to get on terms with Bailey, who is, again, struggling with his battery.
Is if you look at Bailey's lap times, they've been very consistent the last 3 laps whilst Jensen is pulling away, so it is Jensen's pure pace. Bailey doesn't have any problems, I don't think.
Well, I mean, I think he's...
Or he's just consistently making the same amount of mistakes as Tara.
That's possible. I wonder if it's something like tyres, though. I wonder if that's what the issue for him, because he's just not been able to match what Jensen is doing at the moment, and even Danny behind is driving a very good race, and he's considerably faster. And yeah, again, the battery is a problem for Bailey, because he's running out halfway down the straight, which you definitely don't want to be doing. You can see Danny closing up. That's not slipstream. There's not slipstream that far back in this game. It's just the battery situation means that Danny... Oh, as he makes a mistake there, unfortunately, Danny. He'll lose some time from that. Runs wide in the right-hander.
Push and Light Cruiser were going side by side in the S's. Light Cruiser successfully defending from Push, who's back into P11 despite that incident at the start of the race, so good recovery from him.
Yep, it has been a good recovery. I think he's got a lot of penalties, though. I've seen his name flash up certainly more than once, so it might be that is going to send him back down the order again. That might be how Mr. OceanChief gets his solitary point in this race with the penalty situation.
He's diving down the inside of Light Cruiser now into the hairpin. He locks up, pushes Light Cruiser wide, who goes onto the escape road, but he's going to hang it around the outside. Light Cruiser successfully defends that and into the technical section as he spins nearly into a half spin there for Push, but he managed to save that, and Light Cruiser maintains his point.
Yep, nicely done from Light Cruiser. So the two of them going through the last few corners now, back up front on lap 24. There are 5 laps to go. Jensen looks like he might just have this one. He's got a lead of 4 seconds over Bailey on the road. He has a deficit of 3 seconds in terms of penalties, but he looks like he is considerably faster than Bailey at this stage of the race. Then Speedy, 5.5 behind Danny, and the issue for Speedy is that Astro Boys is now within 3 seconds again. So he loses that place as it stands.
Yeah.
As we've lost Joel. What happened to Joel?
I mean, he said he has to leave at half part.
Okay. So yeah, that'll be why. So thank you for joining us, Joel. It was a pleasure to have you in the commentary box. Thank you for your contributions.
I think he did a very good job.
Yep, he certainly did.
Enjoyed it.
Yep, I hope so too. Hope you all enjoyed it watching as well.
Yeah. And I mean, it's hard not to enjoy this race, to be honest.
Yep,
This is
it's been
amazing.
fantastic.
Honestly, I mean, I've commentated almost every SLR race as well as you have, and do you remember a race that's been like better than this?
Nope, I certainly don't. It's been action-packed from start to finish. We might have a little bit more action here with Bailey and Danny towards the end of this race.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing this race would need now is like a massively crispy ending. But even if we don't get that, like that race is easily a 10
Oh,
out of
3
10, and
more
Sandy gets
seconds.
another one, and
Yeah.
that's the Oh, he's actually gonna drop behind Speedy, isn't he?
Is
Maybe.
he's on 12 seconds, Speedy's on 6? So they're pretty much together if
Uh,
that's the case.
yes, they are Speedy, and I mean, Speedy is behind Astro now on paper. But, oh, he's made a mistake
Yeah,
in
he
the
did
S's,
make a
I'm pretty
mistake.
sure.
Yeah, he lost like a
Yeah,
second at once there. So
yeah.
Speedy
Also
really
to
struggling.
Astro.
Yep.
Yeah, the tires. I mean, mm, so let me. What was I? Yeah, I ended my medium stint on like 50%, and I did 18 laps on them, and all of them are going to do 19 laps on them. So that's around where they are going to be like low to mid 40s on the tires, I imagine, and maybe Speedy's. I mean, Speedy's been pushing hard. He's also had his fair share of slides,
And a
and
spin. Yeah,
yeah,
that
yeah.
certainly
Well,
does make a difference.
that's one massive 360 slide, you know. It's question and perspective. And that's going to cost you some tire life. Also, his pad is certainly not going to help him, I imagine, certainly in the S's. Maybe he doesn't do that thing with the ERS as well. So Speedy might actually be like at like 50 or something. And then it's easy to make mistakes. We know that.
Yep, it certainly is. Danny needs to use a little bit of this battery if he wants to get in range. He's got 80% with 3 laps to go. You want to be using it towards the end of the race. Make sure you're using all of the resources you've got available to you. As through the S as he goes. Oh, he makes a little bit of a mistake there in the left-hander. That might cost him DRS down the back straight. We'll see just how much Bailey is struggling, though, with those tyres. And I wonder if some of it as well is because Bailey is driving conservatively in terms of corner cutting, whereas Danny is not, which means that Danny has a lot more in terms of penalties. Got DRS this time, though, does Danny, so he'll certainly close up to the back of that racing point down this back straight. Look at the closing speed here. Bailey with his usual battery issues as well, I imagine. And he almost runs into the back of Bailey there into the hairpin. My goodness. So 2 laps to go after this one. And it has been an absolutely fantastic drive, let us not forget, by Jensen, who,
Yeah.
with 2
From
laps to
P8.
go, yeah, from P8 on the grid, he picked his way through, and just with a series of blistering laps, has really broken the back of this race. He's pulled away from Bailey and from Danny, as these two battle over second on the road. Bailey looks like he will probably have it on the scoreboard because of the penalty situation. And Danny now comfortably pulling away from Speedy as well.
It's very close to Bailey. We might actually like get a fair share of action. And this is basically the calm after the storm, but there's still going to be something. I mean, you know, there's been races in the past where I thought, okay, I wish we had more action. Not really this season. This season has generally been like pretty good. In these moments, I thought, I hope we can get more action in the future. I feel like my prayers have been like heard, and they thought, okay, let's demonstrate him how exhausting it is if you have like 12 cars that are all capable of overtaking each other at the same time. Speaking of overtaking,
Yep, here he goes. Yep, down the inside into the hairpin. So
yeah.
Danny does make it stick, and pretty comfortable in the end. Bailey not fighting it at all, really.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't need to. He's probably aware of the 12 seconds. I imagine, like, either he's being told by his father as a crew chief, I don't know how they do that, or he's just, like, checked it frequently to know how it goes.
Yeah, I'm sure he knows what the situation is.
It's still been a good drive, and he's the most important thing, he's definitely outscoring his championship rival Speedy here. He's done what needed to be done, and it's going to be 8 points in favor of Bailey. So then after this race, we're going to be, I mean, there's 1 lap to go, but I doubt there's going to be something. We would be at 14 points, which means that 2 victories would seal the deal for Bailey, because he's got more wins.
Yep, absolutely right. So Bailey with the P2 that he looks very likely to get here, as Danny looked like he was struggling a little bit through the S's there, but maybe not. Got to be a little bit careful in terms of corner cuts. If he gets another penalty, then Speedy will get him. But Speedy at the moment looking on course to finish P5 in this race. He is behind Astro Boys with the penalty situation. Astro Boys is going to finish 4th. As once again, Danny trying to get Bailey out of his DRS, or out of his slipstream rather, down the back straight. Once again though, Bailey has no battery, which has been the case for most of this race. And the last few corners they go together then, but up front Jensen has played this race absolutely perfectly. A fantastic drive from the Dutchman. We've seen a few fantastic drives from him this season. This has maybe been his best of all, though, after that qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. And in Austin, after arguably the best SLR race so far, the Dutchman is on top, and Jensen takes victory in Austin, Texas. And he's a USA, he's an Austin COTA specialist for a reason. And today you saw why.
Yep, absolutely. Bailey does cross the line P2. Danny with all of those penalties. Did he have... Yeah, he had 12, didn't he? Which means Astro Boys finishes a second behind him. And then Speedy finishes just behind, despite finishing ahead of Astro on the road. So it's P2 for Bailey and P5 for Speedy. That is an 8-point differential in terms of the number of points that they scored. So a 22-point gap has become a 14-point gap between those two. I believe who got the fastest lap in this race? Jensen did. So maximum points for Jensen.
Yeah, great one from him, even though he's a reserve even. I wonder where he actually would be, because we don't count reserves in the championship. If they get a full-time seat, then all the reserve driver points get added to the tally, but he's not officially in the championship. I wonder where he would be right now.
Yep, I don't know. May be able to find out on that one. Crossing the line is Push, and then OceanChief by 0.029 gets himself a point with, I guess, either no penalties or maybe 3 seconds worth of penalties. Ocean does get his point.
He
just
done it.
barely.
You've been cheering him on for a reason. What a legend.
There we go. So Ocean with the point. But that man there with the win. Jensen wins the race.
Why is Mrs. Green sad? Her husband has scored the point.
Because if he didn't score the point, Ocean apparently had to make tea for Keltipper for the rest of the night. But unfortunately, she's going to have to make her own tea.
I mean, it's really on you. You brought up his fighting spirit. He just didn't get a... I mean, yeah, it's pretty great not getting a penalty around here. And with that motivation, I mean, you've kind of brought this upon yourself.
So there we go. That is our American Grand Prix. Jensen with the win. 2 drivers, by the way, without any penalties. One of them is the aforementioned Mr. Chief, and the other one was Pretorius, who ended up P6 after a pretty good drive overall.
Only 3 seconds in Mexico, not a single one here. He's very good on track limits, isn't he? I mean,
yep, he certainly is.
Seems to be one of his strengths.
So there we go. Now, are we going to get people to talk to us? That is the question. Yeah. Who wants to talk to us in this race? And
I've got only 10 minutes though. I mean, 10 minutes is going to be enough. But look.
Yeah, I think that should be fine. Yeah, I have to go fairly soon as well, before 7. So let's bring our race winner in, who drove a fantastic race. P8 on the grid. We saw that qualifying lap. Oh, we haven't done that yet. We'll figure that out in a second. But yeah, we saw that qualifying lap where you were 4 tenths up and then you cut the penultimate corner. And we figured you must have been kicking yourself after that.
Yeah, it was one of those qualifyings again, indeed. And I was like, oh man, P8 in a crowded turn one, first lap. But fortunately, I survived and could drive back up to the front group. Yeah, and then it was battling. I had two nice overtakes in the S's. It was also pretty nice on Danny and Astro, but Astro ghosted.
Yeah, I think we saw the one on Danny, or
Yeah.
rather, we didn't see the one on Danny because it was happening at the same time as the battle ahead,
Ah,
and there
okay.
was an
Yeah, yeah,
overtake through the S's there. I think it was Speedy and Astro who were side by side through
yeah.
the S's there. But yeah, we saw that you'd passed through the S's, and yeah, we saw the one with Astro where he ghosted and then ran super wide.
Yeah, exactly. It was the same move on Danny. A little bit of contact, but still fair, I think. And yeah, for the rest, I was going to pit in lap 9. Yeah, it was always the plan to do the undercut, but I saw everyone went for it, of course. Yeah, and then it was just yeah, trying to find my way to P1, and I knew that if I didn't have cars in front of me, I could maybe break DRS because I think I was definitely fastest in the S's, so that helps a lot. And fortunately, at one point, the DRS broke with Bailey, and then I could just drive away. And I was the last 5 or 6 laps, also one warning away from 9 seconds of penalty. So I had to get him over 6 seconds. And yeah, fortunately, I did it, and also Danny helped a little bit out in the last few laps.
Yeah, he certainly did. He overtook Bailey as well. But yeah, we saw that those couple of very fast laps you did when you passed Bailey. And
Yeah.
I was wondering if you turned the battery up a little bit for those laps because we saw that Bailey for pretty much the whole race didn't have any battery.
Yeah, no, not at all. I had most of the race. I was between 60 and 70%. So what I did this race, I only had it in hot lap and overtake on the main straight, the back straight. Yeah, that was pretty much it. To be honest, I had it on none in the S's because
Yeah.
I find out that you save tire temps a lot by doing that. Also in the last sector, of course. And you have better traction, so you feel much more confident going fast through the S's.
Yeah, Timo mentioned that that you
Yeah,
told him that before the race, and yeah, that was interesting because yeah, you really don't want the battery on through the S's anyway because you're on the power most of the time, but you don't need the extra power.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, it's
And I don't know what was up with Bailey. Maybe he burned too much of his ERS and his rear tire started to slide a little bit in some corners.
yeah,
Because
maybe. Well, let's find out, shall we? Let's
yeah,
find out. Let's bring Bailey in here because we saw that battle between the two of you at the end of the race, and Bailey, you looked like you were struggling a little bit in the second half of that race. What was happening from your perspective?
I just didn't keep it with them really.
Yeah, fair enough. That's good. You drove a fantastic race overall. You ended up P2. Are you? I mean, is that the best you could have done? Do you feel like you could on another day have competed for the win?
Maybe. But I mean, P2 is a good result in my eyes.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Considering I hate this track, I was not expecting to even be on the podium. And
Yeah, no, you certainly drove a great race. You also didn't have many penalties. You had, I think, 3 seconds at the end. Is that something you were working on as well? You were just trying to keep it clean?
I keep. I was trying to keep it clean, and then in the second half of the race, when I think Jensen was like 3 seconds ahead of me, I hoped he got another penalty, but he didn't. I think through when we were battling, it was hard racing, but I think it was quite fair. So
yeah, it was hard and fair. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Can I ask a question?
yeah, go for it.
Bailey, commentator said you were out of ERS most of the laps. What mode were you in through the S's and stuff?
I was trying to keep up with you. I had a run medium, but like the second half of the race when Danny was catching me, I had none. And through the first and last sector, I still was running out of it down the straight. So I mean,
No, okay. Were you sliding a lot or not?
no, like
Ah,
half
okay.
are quite stable.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, good stuff. It was. I mean, in terms of the qualifying, I mean, let's just talk a second about the qualifying because I think the top was it the top 9 drivers, top 10 drivers, maybe even, were all within 0.4 of a second.
top 10 within 3
Yeah.
turns.
Yeah, it was absolutely insane. So I mean, I guess it's like, I mean, obviously you could have gone faster, Jensen. Did you feel
Yeah.
you could have gone faster, Bailey?
Yeah. I did an invalid run in that session, and I did a 39.7 in the middle sector.
Okay.
And then in my final run, I did a 39.9 for the middle sector, so
Okay.
I could have done.
So yeah, that's another 2/10 you could have found there. And yeah, Jensen was 4/10 up before he invalidated.
Yeah, that was pretty unfortunate. Yeah, but I knew it was a long race and people would start to feel tire temps issues after 4 or 5 laps. So I knew if I could keep that under control, and I knew I had good pace. Yeah, I knew I would catch up with the leaders. So that I just had to wait a little bit.
Yeah, guys,
and
I have to
survive.
hit the road. I'm sorry.
Okay, no, fair enough.
Okay,
My
Thank-
driver of the
Thank
my
you.
driver of the day vote is for Jensen, by the way.
Yeah,
for
mine is
PH81.
too.
Okay, that's
guys.
great.
You're
See ya.
your driver of the day, Jensen. Yeah, see you, Timo. And so yeah, Jensen is driver of the day. So that is confirmed and official. And are we going to see you in any more of these races, Jensen? In any more of the SLR races?
Yeah, maybe it depends a little bit how if I don't have anything after football, because I got home at 5:45, so only half an hour before the lobby started. But yeah, if I don't have anything to do and I'm done with playing football soon enough, early enough, then I can maybe make the last two races as well. I just have to wait and see.
Yeah, can you not? I want to score some points.
Yeah, I cost you 7 points, maybe 8.
Yeah.
Fastest lap as well.
You cost me
I-
7 points. I could have used those.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we should mention about the championship because yeah, it's 14 points now between you and Speedy. So you need to win the last 2 races basically, or you need to beat him by 7. I guess with Jensen being there, it's not necessarily the case that you need to win them. But how are you feeling about it, Bailey? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I like Brazil a lot more than USA. So hopefully I can beat Jensen and Speedy comes third. 4 points between us, and wouldn't that be a nice finale?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe I
Be
just
good.
need to stay out of the way the last 2 races.
Yes,
Well,
yes, Jensen. maybe you
might be more fair.
No, we welcome competition in SLR, so
Yeah, I know.
we want people to race where they can.
Yeah.
You better not be giving them setups and the 2 SRL discos.
We don't do things like, I mean, he gives us setups mostly. I mean, that tends to be how it works. So you know,
Yeah.
it's
Well, Speedy spinned with my setup this time. So.
oh no, well,
Oh,
that
yes.
Didn't you guys cut?
sabotage.
You spinned out of the last.
Yeah,
second to last
the second to last corner. Yeah, we did
I
see
had
it.
to really drive around him.
Yeah. He was. Yeah, I think you all were lucky with Astro as well, and Danny, who were behind, were
Yeah.
a little bit lucky not to collect him because yeah, he was in the middle of the track.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Also, I want to say before
Mhm.
I sign off, I want to give my compliments to Popo. He did a very good, pole position lap.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
he was suffering from massive leg spikes and stuff and screen freezes. But he will tell you himself, I guess. But
Yeah,
it's a
absolutely.
little bit sad for him. He deserved better.
Well, I think because we have to go sort of relatively soon. So let's bring everyone else in to the main commentator's booth because Mr. Popo, you had a fantastic qualifying session. That was your first SLR Tier 1 pole position, and
Yes.
it all just fell apart a little bit. What happened in the first couple of laps?
I didn't do anything wrong myself in the entire race, really. I mean, I didn't do anything wrong. It's just on the first lap I had the contact with Bailey, went off the track, and then I was really struggling with the lag spikes that would like 7/10 further behind each lag spike.
Yeah, we saw the lag spikes. That was I think with one you lost 3 places.
Yep, exactly, on one of the first laps. And I was just stuck behind those guys. Well, it was a bit tough racing, but I think it was fair enough. And
Yep.
yeah, then Light Cruiser had the spin ahead of me. Nothing he about it, and I couldn't really avoid it.
Oh yeah, we
I
saw
mean,
that, and yeah, you went into the wall. That was really unfortunate because yeah, he lost it by
yeah.
himself.
Mm.
I think it was in the
Yeah, and I looked
last
after the
corner.
race. I went into race director, and I could see I had the race pace. So that's just made my day even worse. Like I
Yeah.
actually had the pace to be up there and fight.
Yeah, well, I
with
mean,
the
you obviously
guys.
did with the qualifying lap. That showed the pace that you
Yeah,
had. It was really good.
yeah. Jensen and Speedy was a bit unlucky in quali, but still I managed to do well there.
Yeah, no, you certainly did. Yeah, I mean, for all that the race was bad, the qualifying was definitely very good for you. So
Yeah,
you must take some confidence from that going into the last two
yeah,
races.
yeah. Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
fantastic.
happy with that. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. And we have Astro Boys in here as well, who put in his usual performance at the front of the field. Certainly had a lot of pace up there, and I mean, you ended up P4. You beat Speedy on penalties, but I mean, are you feeling like you could have maybe challenged for the win in that one?
Yeah, of course. In quali, I usually I did what I usually do. I got my first lap in, and then all the other laps that I did were or invalidated or I just aborted them because they were shit. But even
Yeah.
with my, I think my penultimate run, I would have got pole because I was up by 2 tenths in sector 3 before the last corner. But I decided to abort it because I felt I could have gone even faster. And
Okay.
in the race, it was just a disaster. Everything was falling apart. I think I 6 seconds worth of screen freeze when Curse joined back in the session for
Oh, is that
random
what happened? Yeah,
reason.
we saw you drop back very suddenly, and we thought maybe you'd made a mistake. But yeah, I didn't realize that it was a screen freeze. That's really bad luck.
Yeah, it was like I was just about starting the turn, and I lost force feedback, and I was like freaking out as what is happening.
Oh dear. Yeah.
But everything was just going down. Nothing ended up how I would have liked to, but yeah.
Well, you still ended up P4 in a very competitive race, so you got some points for it. How are you feeling about Brazil and about Abu Dhabi in the last 2 weeks?
Brazil, I won't be able to race because I won't be home. But for Abu Dhabi, I'm feeling really confident because that's a track which I really like. So yeah, hopefully I can maybe get my win there.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah, it should be I mean, both of the last two races should be really good, and yeah, it's certainly been a fun season with all of you quick guys up front. Watching you all battle the whole season, it's been a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, it certainly was.
So yeah, congratulations on the P4 today. It was a good drive in the end, and you only finished a few seconds off the lead, so that was pretty good. We have Mr. OceanChief in here as well, who by I think 300ths of a second managed to get himself his customary P10 and his point. How was that one for you, Ocean?
It's a miracle. It's a Christmas miracle. It came at a cost, though. I don't know if you caught it on stream, but my teammate for this one was actually not Icewind, who was hungover.
Yeah, it was Tipsy.
Was Tipsy. So Tipsy, he was coming out of the pits on soft tires. He started on medium. I started on soft. I did the opposite strategy. He came out of the pits on softs. I saw him coming out of the pits, and I thought I would pip him by the apex, but so I just took my apex as normal, and I just clipped his front wing and just destroyed his race. So,
Oh dear.
yeah, I had the stream. There's a stream there, and you'll hear me just. Yeah, I wasn't too happy about that. I mean, it was.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, and I know I'm just gonna get grief from for a long time now about that, and yeah, but I mean, it was I went into this race with very little confidence because it's not a great track for me, and any practice I've done has always been very terrible. Like the pace has just not been there at all, even worse than usual. And this time, I'm just seeing Tipsy in chat saying, "I will never forget it, Chief." um, that is very true. Yeah, so my race, I just got into a rhythm, and I knew it wasn't the fastest, but I just thought if I keep this up consistent, I might be in a with a chance. You never know with races. You never know what might happen. And there was a lot of battling going on ahead, and I had no penalties, which is another advantage of being slow. I think it's the only advantage of being slow. But yeah, you can probably hear my voice as well. I'm kind of that last few laps, I had both crew chief in my ear, one in each ear, just going 12 seconds now, it's 11 seconds now, and it kept going down, and at the very end they were like 0.3, and I was on the last corner, and I just crossed the line, looked at the board, it was P10, and the legend continues.
Yeah, wow. So you got yourself another point, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess did you have Icewind and Wimpy as sort of double crew chiefs for this one?
Yeah, I had Icewind and Wimpy, and then we had Pretorius in there as well. So he was getting most of the crew chief because I was most of the time at the back. But then Pretorius I think he had a spin going on to the long straight. Actually passed him, and then he had a really good recovery.
Yeah, well, he didn't get any penalties either. So it was the two of you were the only people I think not to get any penalties at all. So
How much didn't I get?
Sorry?
The Icewind Wimpy effect.
Yeah.
Didn't I get a penalty?
I think you did, yeah. Did you? I thought you did.
I think.
Or did you not?
Yeah. I think I did. Yeah, I think it.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it was Ocean and Pretorius that were the only two that didn't get a penalty.
Yep. I don't think I even got a warning, to be honest with you.
Wow, that's pretty incredible. 28 laps of Kota without even a single warning. That is
going slowly.
Very, very slow.
I had my first penalty in lap 3, I think.
Yeah. I think you were the first of like the lead group to get a penalty.
Yeah.
But then everyone else
I
followed.
got my first on around lap 15, something like that.
Yeah. I think Thimo said you were on 2 warnings from like very early on, like lap 4 or something. But then you didn't get the penalty until lap 15. Then you didn't get another penalty. So yeah, it's.
You won, Jensen. You won.
He did.
Yeah,
he did. Yep, Jensen did in fact win. Yeah, he beat Bailey by a few seconds. So
I didn't. What are you talking about? I beat him.
So where did Speedy finish on the rest?
Speedy finished 5th. So
he had a spun spin in front.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was leading and he spun out of the lead with about 10 laps to go, I think.
How's that leave the title?
Yeah, that's turn 19.
So I think it's
14 points now,
14 points. Yeah.
I was doing the math on lap 26.
So yeah, I mean, well, if Jensen's going to be in the last 2 races, that's going to make it interesting, and obviously Astro Boys is there as well. He can act as spoiler. But generally, I think the case it's in Bailey's hands in the sense that if he wins both races, then
yeah,
he
but
will
we
win.
need Jensen not to race. That's what we need.
Well, I think I got some bad news for you, Bailey.
Bailey, you're ahead, aren't you?
How much do you have to offer?
I mean,
I saw your bounty for Speedy. If you take him out, you can get money. But how much do I get when I don't race?
Well, basically, Speedy took out himself, so.
So he collected his own.
Yeah, he gets his own bounty.
the curve gets the 5
That's clever, easy money.
I mean, I can take someone out for $50 if.
Jensen, 1 Italian pound.
He's ahead. He's ahead in the championship.
Unfortunately, they don't exist
Let me think
anymore.
about it.
But yeah, it's yeah. I don't know. It's going to be a lot of fun. The last 2 races will be great. I'm really looking forward to them. I won't be commentating for them though, unfortunately, because I am off to
Are you
America
guys still
for a couple
live?
of weeks.
Because this is a mega big gap.
We are live. Yeah. What's we've got Mr.
What
TipsyBob in here as well. What's
There's no one talking.
really?
Really?
What
Where?
On stream?
Oh, hang on a minute.
Or didn't you have?
Oh, sorry, Mr. Terry. I had you muted.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, so yeah, we were live. So we still are live, in fact. So
Right,
yeah.
good.
Should we-
I'm
That's
glad
good.
you're live. I came in.
Interview?
I just came in, right? Because I want to lay the smackdown on Mr. Chief.
This is my cue to leave.
No,
Bye.
no. I'm gonna tell you how weak Mr. Chief is. He drinks Tetley tea. I mean, what kind of weak ass drinks Tetley tea?
Me.
Well, you were a kid.
Only the fastest driver in SLR.
He's a kid. Chief, Tetley? What's wrong with you, man?
Nothing wrong with a cup of Tetley.
Yorkshire tea.
Yorkshire tea.
Telly's where it's at, man. Telly's where it's at.
It's yeah, up north is where they know how to make tea, like Tetley's and Yorkshire tea. That's
Now I'm Barry.
How was your race? Other than getting killed by Ocean, how was your race, Tipsy?
I'm more interested in talking about the tea, but I had a rubbish race. I was way off my normal pace that I can do, but I mean, I wasn't expecting to beat any of these guys because they're all too fast. And so I was just trying to position myself just a nice clean race, one stop. There was an incident, I've posted it on the chat, an incident between the two McLarens, which I think somebody got killed, but I've posted that up. And then I was on fire to get reasonably good points. Came into the pits and came out of the pits, and basically Chief just freaking murdered me. I mean, like, talk about leaving no space at all. I mean, like, none. I had nowhere to go. But I don't like doing it, but I'm gonna have to report him.
Oh dear. So it's could be
no.
penalty points for our esteemed admin, Mr.
Yeah, I'm in the
OceanChief.
FAA, so it's all right.
Want to know the
One race ban.
What's up, Joel?
FIA that are actually racing in the race? Ocean, if he finishes P11, is it intentional, the penalty?
We speak after.
All right. I think that's going to do us for the US Grand Prix broadcast. It's been a fun one, and thanks to all the drivers and thanks to everyone watching.
Thanks for commentating.
No, well, thank you. I mean, it's
Yes,
it makes it a lot easier when there's a lot of good driving and a lot of action on track, and you guys
Yeah.
always deliver.
And
So-
this victory is for you.
The action
thank you.
didn't go in my favor though.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's unfortunate.
I'm gonna come back to Brazil stronger.
Back to Brazil. Come to Brazil.
Even stronger.
Brazil.
We're gonna miss you, Terror, man. We're gonna miss you on the stream. Man.
Yeah, well, no, thank you. I
Actually,
mean, it's.
cheeks.
I mean,
You're placing.
we've got some people to. I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know who it'll be, but I mean, I think it'll be whoever it is.
Tipsy
We've
will.
got. It might well be
Um,
Tipsy, and I think Joel is going to be. there somewhere as well, because yeah, did a fantastic job today. So thank you, Joel. But yeah, I mean, we've got like a whole bunch of like actually really able and really good commentators now. Yeah, it's fantastic to see, and whoever does it, I think will do a fantastic job. So yeah, thanks everyone for watching. It's the usual stuff next week. We got Thursday night tier 2 in Brazil. We've got 2 SRL tomorrow at Kota. Join us for that one. But until then, and until I see you next time in the commentary box, which might not be until next season. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.